Hi, my name is Ayuna, and today I want to go over 5 tips and tricks that I have found from playing over 48 hours of Paralives since its release. You can see when you open this big plot of land here, the grid immediately goes in this direction. Maybe we want it to go at an angle. What we'll do is we'll go down to maybe a corner here, and we'll turn off the grid. You then draw the wall and the angle that you would like it to be. Click on the wall, and then right here you'll see start placing walls on a 1x1 grid aligned with this wall. You'll click on that, and now the grid goes that direction. But what if you want to also change the size of the grid? Well, you can easily do that. Let's say we want it to be three feet at a time. Let's just throw one out there. You'll then go to the same menu and start placing walls on a grid of the length of this wall. You'll click on that and it'll change the length of the grid. There you go, and you can still hit shift and get even smaller. So play around with this and find lengths of walls that works for you. I find it easy to set it to 1 foot when I'm working on blueprints of real life house plans. Now let's talk about painting. You know, in most games you can paint your walls, you can paint your floors, put whatever designs you want on there. But did you know in Paralives, if you hold down Alt, you can paint separate parts of objects that you wouldn't typically make black brick? I just thought that was an interesting little thing that they added to the game and wasn't sure if a lot of people knew you can do this. That's quite crazy. Now I want to discuss the Seperator Tool. You see I have this little building here. This is how I made this room. If you want to get a flooring without walls, you can use the Separator Tool and it'll allow you to build a room without there actually being a room. So that's how I managed to do that. You can also use it to help you get a porch. Very easily. So for instance, I came over here and I did a little step up for the stair here. The Separator Tool will also allow you to break up walls. So when you're painting, typically, you have to paint this entire wall. But if you go to the Separator Tool, you now have 2 separate walls, and you could very easily do a different paint. Same goes for flooring. Now I want to talk about resizing. This one's an interesting one. We know in the game we have the Toggle Advanced Transform tool. Did you know you can do some actually insane things with it? For instance, doors. I had this little space here. The door doesn't exactly fit, but we can make it fit by doing that. Now, do note that sometimes this will mess with the graphics a bit, so don't go too crazy with it. I find making it shorter doesn't really make too much of a difference in graphics. My para is very short, so I can have a shorter door if you're making like a hobbit home or something like that and you want to have a shorter door or like shorter walls and stuff like that, you can naturally do that and still have like the doors on there. You can see in this kitchen it doesn't really fit, right? So how can we make this a little more spacious? For instance, the fridge. You can make this fridge smaller, bring down the height, and it'll work perfectly fine like a normal fridge. You can even move your microwave to on top of there. Maybe you can shrink the microwave a little bit so it fits better. And you can do it both ways so the image doesn't feel as squashed. You just have a mini microwave. You're also capable of making counters smaller than their limitations allow. You can also make stoves a little smaller. And it also is still working. There really isn't too many graphical glitches. Now let's talk about inside lighting. In Paralives, there's consistently an issue where you can't tell whether it's inside or outside of a building, or if your room is actually a room. But there's one easy way to fix this. If you go into settings, under gameplay, you'll see ceiling cast shadows. Go ahead and toggle that on. When you go back into your game, look at that. Ceilings will now cast shadows, as it says, and you can tell the difference between an inside room and an outside room. Thank you for making it to the end of my video. If you found any of these tips useful or would like to share any of your own, please like and comment down below. If you would like to see more of my content in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Goodbye!